Would I like to try this year's Gaokao essay? Okay, I don't know. I don't think that it's going to prove or teach you what you think it's going to, but sure, I can try. Words carry our thoughts and show social changes. Times are changing all around us. Pick one word you now understand differently. Talk about how your understanding has changed. Okay, let me think about that for a minute. It's a good question. I like the question. I think that there are a bunch of different levels that you could look at. The first one that comes to mind, I think, is weather and climate, because those are two terms that I think not everybody understood clearly 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I think many people thought climate is just weather, but now our understanding of the term climate has changed, and we understand that climate means weather over time, right? A consistent pattern of weather over time that shows predictable patterns or changes in those patterns. And we're much more familiar with that now, you know? Or you could look at quantum physics and you could talk about how our understanding of the word universe has changed many times throughout history, right? So the world or the universe that we knew used to mean this, right? But over time the word universe in our understanding of universe has changed greatly. And now we think that the universe is constantly expanding beyond its boundaries infinitely, right? But even that understanding is constantly changing, and growing. So the word culture, what does culture mean? I think culture is a word that not everybody understands clearly and doesn't. I think many people don't understand how many levels of culture there are and why it's so important to look at culture. And your understanding of culture shows your understanding of people. So there are many different choices that you could look at about words and our changed understanding of words, whether it be climate or the universe or science or culture, you know. You could even look at the word popular, pop, right? Pop music, K pop, J pop, popular, whatever, anything that's popular. What does that really mean? Maybe you can explain your understanding of the word popular and what it actually means. That it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. It means it's the most popular. But that many people don't have a clear understanding of that either. Many people think the word pop somehow means the best. Like that must be the best because it's popular. But it's not true. It's only popular because people like it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the best. So there are so many levels that you could choose for that one, Susu. It's important to try to look at to think about systems. You know, like that's what I did immediately with that question, was I thought about words that affect systems of language over time, like climate and science and culture. These are things that are affected by time, and therefore our understanding of them is also affected by time. Yeah, like I said, well, what I was trying to get you to understand is, if your life is only things that are popular, then what does that say about you? If there is nothing in your life that is a little bit different, then that means that you're always doing what everybody else thinks is good. You're never thinking about just what you like for yourself. And do you have the bravery to like something that other people don't like? Do you have the bravery to do that? It's brave, you know, because it's easy to just say, I only like what everyone else likes, you know? And that's why I don't like to choose favorites, because favorites make you favor things. And I don't want to favor anything, because it will mean that I might not be open-minded. I might be biased in my view. So I like things. There are many things I like. But I won't claim that one is my favorite usually. Very rarely do I use the term favorite, because I think it's better to just say, I like it, it's good. Because now you keep your mind open for other things that you can like that are good, and that you don't compare them. Because as we say in English, comparison is the thief of joy. Sometimes when you compare things to other things, you're not appreciating them. You're comparing them. Okay, hello to everyone. Okay, now I'm going to get started teaching my topic today here in just a minute. Mobina, I have an article that I already wrote about that topic, about how to learn vocabulary in a better way so that you don't forget them. Okay, you need a better system of learning vocabulary, and you can read about it right there in that article. I wrote that article. It's about vocabulary and how to learn them better so that you don't forget them. Okay? All right. So I am going to talk today about the best English resources that I can find online. All right, I want to show you a bunch of great websites that you can use for free to study English, which you should be using. That's the one thing that's very different today compared to when I grew up as a boy. When I grew up as a boy, if you wanted to study something, your resources were very, very limited. Maybe you had an encyclopedia at home. Maybe you had a book about it at home. Maybe you could go to the library, and maybe, just maybe, you might find a video about it. One video. But that was the most you could find when I was a kid. Resources were very limited for studying. But today, resources for self-study are almost unlimited. There are hundreds of apps, hundreds of websites, hundreds of live streams and podcasts, and whatever. Everything is there. The only problem is you're not taking advantage of all of the resources that are available for you. You're not taking advantage of it. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try to show you some of these websites that you should be using. For example, where's that for? There's this one. Here is the first website I'm going to show you today. ESL-lounge.com. ESLLounge.com. It's a website that has a whole lot of practice. Let's take a look. This is ESLLounge.com. Okay, let's take a look at what they have here. Look, right here they have a test. What's my English level? What's my English level right here? If you don't know your English level and you want to know your English level, they have a free test that you can take that will tell you a good ballpark. That means it's a guess. It's not an accurate test. If you want to take an accurate test to see your level, then you should take the IELTS or the TOEFL. But if you want to just see a basic idea of what your level is, then take this test. Okay? And they have an app here. The ESL Lounge app is also available. Okay? And Word Bank. Let's go here to Word Bank. Let's look here. What do they have here? English Word Bank. So down here, oh wow, look at that vocabulary that's divided by level. So we have A1 vocabulary, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, right? So let's look at some really difficult vocabulary. Let's look at the C2 of nouns. And look, they have 11 pages. 11 pages of nouns of C2 proficiency. Okay, so this is C2 nouns, English nouns, people, roles, and occupations. Okay, look at this. Wow, okay, let's check what this is. Accomplice, adherent, adversary, apostle, arbiter, artisan, autocrat, bellwether, benefactor, charlatan, compatriot, connoisseur. And look, they have the pronunciation for the IPA here. And they also have a sentence where you can see the example being used. Oh, it's not showing. Let's try again. Screen share's not working well in HelloTalk still. Okay, take a look. Look. These are vocabulary words. Okay, these are great vocabulary words. These are high-level vocabulary words. Iconoclast, ideologue, incumbent, journeyman, jurist, freshman, forerunner, figurehead, exponent, expatriate, linguist, liaison, laureate. Right? These are great advanced words. Okay, so that's just one little area. Yes, this is all free, Mona. All of this is free. Let's keep going. Let's go back. Let's see. So once again, this is just the vocabulary, just the vocabulary section here, okay? Let's go back and look. What else do they have here? English in action. What is this? New conversations. Let's see what this means. Can you see it now? I'll try sharing again. Here it is. Can you see it? Okay, good. Interactive conversations. And look, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, US English, UK English, work, personal, customer service. Wow. So you can choose US English or UK English, and then you can choose what level, and then you can choose what topic. Okay? So here, look, here's one here. This is a project update call. Right? This is Sarah from the project team calls to check in on the alpha project and discuss project progress before the upcoming deadline. Okay, and this is British English level B1. Okay, and look, they have 12 different possible ways that you could have this conversation. So let's look. Let's see. What is it? Let's try it. Can you guys see? Yes, okay, good.
Hi, it's Sarah calling from the project team. I'm just calling to check in on the Alpha project. How are things going with the deadline next Friday?
Ah, look. So now you have to choose what to say. Yeah, it's AI. It's a generated option-based AI conversation. Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. You have choices. You could say, "Hi, Sarah. Things are going well. Everything is on schedule." Or you can say, "Hi, Sarah. The project is about our new marketing strategy." Or you can say, "Hi, Sarah. To be honest, we've run into a small issue." So let's try this one.
Okay, thanks for being upfront about that. It's good to catch these things early. To help me understand the situation, what's the main blocker right now?
Okay, so what's the problem, she's asking. I'm not sure, but I think we'll be fine by Friday. I'm having some trouble with the software we use for data analysis. Or the main blocker is that I'm still waiting for data from the sales team. Right? So look, this is called Choose Your Own Adventure. When I was a boy, it was called Choose Your Own Adventure. It was a book that you could read, and you would read about, the knight is going to kill the dragon, right? And you have a choice. Do you take the right path or do you take the left path? And do you drink the water from the well or do you take a nap in the forest? Whatever. You have to choose what you do, and every choice gives you a different path, right? So, I'm sorry if it was not working well, the screen share. But again, if you just go to the website and explore, you'll see it. Yeah, it's like an interactive game. That's right. It's like an interactive conversational game. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of cool, right? Let's see. They also have this thing called First Words. First Words is for beginners. If you are a beginner, then they have this. Look, this is very basic stuff, right? So here we have, see a photo of the word, hear how it's pronounced, American and British pronunciation. So let's try this. Clothes. Let's do American English. Can you guys see it? Yes, thank you. Okay. So, look, we have shirt.
Shirt.
Okay. Ah, okay, that's good. That's good. All right. And what do we do next? Pants.
Pants.
Blouse, right? So it has pictures and it lets you listen to the words, right? And these are clothes. This is with the American English accent. Okay. All right. So this is basic stuff, right? And then look over here. What's this? Grammar guide. Grammar guide. They have a grammar guide. Let's look at the grammar guide. It's not me, everybody. It's HelloTalk. HelloTalk has problems with the screen share. The screen share doesn't work. Okay? Yamin, it's not old. It's a brand new website. But guess what, Yamin? Many people, when they make a website, they don't care how it looks. They only care if it works. Okay? I don't care what my website looks like. I really don't. It's a waste of time to spend time on beauty. I only care about function. Okay? Function, function, function. Okay. Good Lord. This is annoying. I cannot show anything. Okay. I'm sharing now. Can you see it? Please. Can you see it? Can you see it? Good Lord. If you can't see it, then you're out of luck. Over here, I'm going to make it bigger. Look, grammar guide. Grammar guide, beginner, elementary, pre-intermediate, intermediate, and advanced grammar. And grammar exercises for beginner, in elementary, intermediate, advanced. Everything is here. Look at that. Reading exercises for beginner through advanced. Listening exercises for beginner through advanced. Vocabulary exercises for beginner through advanced. Commonly confused words. Picture quizzes. Test prep. Look at this. Test prep. Look at all the test prep. Business English. Phrasal verbs. Pronunciation. Games. They have lots of games too. Let's do a game. Can you see it? Can you see it? Waleed, if you can't see it, then I don't know what to do. All right, I'm going to tell Hello Talk again. Wait a minute. All right. Can you see it now? It's right there. What's that say? What's that say? Hello. Look. What's that say? ESL Lounge, okay? ESL Lounge is the name of the website, okay? Now, just listen. Good Lord. If you don't know what's going on, please just listen. Thank you. Now, games. Games for learning English. Look, games. We have a sentence scrambler. This means that they're going to make a sentence that's not in the right order, and you have to change it up, okay? Hangman. We know Hangman, right? It's a famous game to play for vocabulary and spelling, right? Crosswords. These are fun. Let's do a crossword. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, thank you. Okay, look. So now we have crosswords with different vocabulary. Let's try one. How about colors? Let's do an easy one. This is very easy. Can you see it? Please tell me. Can you see it? Okay, thank you. Okay, one more time. Let's see. Now, let's click a word and see what happens. Ah, this color is very boring. This color is very boring. It's 4 letters. What color could that be? Ah, let's try. Gray. Bingo. Okay, how about this one? Let's try this one. Whoops. What happened? Check. Wait a minute. Sorry, let's go back. Maybe we spelled it wrong. Let's see. G-R-A-Y, maybe. Okay. All right. How about this one? The color of grass? Oh, good Lord. The color of grass, green. Right? Okay, you see how this works? Okay. The color of the sun, yellow. Right? So this is a fun game. These are crosswords for vocabulary. You have to think about the answers, right? You have to think about the question and the answer, right? That's good for you, okay? And then they even have stuff for Spanish speakers. Look at this. Aprender español. Okay? So, you want the link? I will give you the link. It's right here. Be patient. That's the link. Now, how much is on this one website? One website I just showed you. How much time could you spend there? That's one. Do you know how many are like this? There are so many websites like this. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of websites like this. So you have no excuse. If you're not practicing enough, it's because you don't have enough to do. But if you find websites like this, you can do crossword puzzles and you can do vocabulary games and you can play hangman and you can study, grammar. There's so much you can do there. Okay? So that's another website. That's one more website. ESL Lounge. Okay? ESL-lounge.com. All right, let's see. What else is there for other websites? Let's see. What's the next one I want to show you? Okay, here's another great website. EnglishClub.com. EnglishClub.com. Waleed, the website that I just showed you a minute ago has a lot of exam and test prep and, to testing to see your level. Okay? So, let's look at EnglishClub.com. Now, again, please tell me when the screen share is not working, because it's not me. It's HelloTalk. It's some problem with HelloTalk. Okay, so look, when you start with EnglishClub.com, they have lessons for learning English and lessons for teaching English. If you are an English teacher, they have a separate area for you. Amazing. Okay, let's click Learning English. Okay, can you see it? Can you see it? Thank you. All right. So let's see here. Test your English. There's one here. Test your English. Or we have grammar lessons, vocabulary lessons, pronunciation lessons, writing skills, reading skills, speaking skills, listening skills. Nope. Okay. Good. I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, now you can see it, I hope. Okay, good. So again, look what's here. And down here, language resources for learning English. Here is a forum. This is a place where you can ask questions, or you can share ideas, or you can join discussions about English. So there are many, many people who have questions about English. You can find them there and see the discussion, see what people say about it, right? Here are some quizzes. Here is the ESL games. More games. Here is English exams for studying for the TOEFL and TOEIC in Cambridge. Here's the English articles for reading. ESL videos. Songs. Songs for learning English. Let's look at that. Can you see it? Yes, great. Here we have the alphabet song and Audlan Singh and the be verb song and a clothing song. Let's see. Let's try. Let's see. Let's try the job song. Let's see what the job song is. All right. Can you see it? Yes? Hold again? Okay, wait. All right. Let's click it and see what this is about.
I woke up this morning with tired eyes. I checked jobs in the classified. There's a job for a baker, must be good at cakes. And a job for a chef, must grill great steaks. They're looking for actors who can memorize lines and looking for miners with no fear of the mines. There's a job for a carpenter, must be good with your hands, and a job for a sales clerk, must know all the brands.
Yes. Okay. Now, Mona said this. Mona said, such a funny song. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point, guys. It's silly. Why is silly good? Why is silly good? Anyone? Because you don't forget it. That's exactly right. If it's funny, if it's weird, if it's silly, then you're more likely to remember it. It's weird. So you'll remember weird things. Okay, so normal is easy to forget. Weird is easy to remember. So weird, funny, silly things are great learning tools. So if you have to make a sentence, if you have a new vocabulary word and you need to make a sentence with this vocabulary word, you could make a normal sentence, right? So I always tell people, you know, if my word is microphone, maybe I say, I bought a new expensive microphone. Okay, that's a sentence. It works. It's a good sentence, but it's boring. But if I say, I hit my little brother in the face with my new microphone, what just happened? I just made a funny picture in your head. Now you're imagining Teacher Mark hitting his little brother in the face with a microphone. That's something you'll remember. Okay? So, when you have to write a sentence for an exercise, you can do it one time normally. Fine, write one normal sentence, but then write another sentence that's funny or weird or different somehow. Write it something silly, right? Okay? It's much easier to remember if it's funny and weird. All right? So, they have a bunch of songs there, a ton of songs, right? They're all funny, silly little songs, it looks like. Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. Let's see what else we have here. English for kids. They have a section for English for kids with stories and puzzles. They have English jokes. Let's look at some jokes. Okay, English jokes, right? So they have funny videos. There are some funny videos you can watch with English. And here are English puns. Let's look at some puns. Can you see it? Okay, good. All right. So many words have more than one meaning. For example, the word long. Long can mean something that takes a long time, like great amount of time. Or it can mean measuring a great distance from end to end, right? Or some words have the same sound, like the word flour, like for bread, for making bread, and the word flower, like a pretty flower in the field, right? So let's see. Did you hear about the teacher who was cross-eyed? Did you hear about the teacher who was cross-eyed? Let's see what it says. Ah. Can you see the screen? Yes? So it says he couldn't control his pupils. Pupils has two meanings. Do you know what pupils means? What are pupils? Right here. Look, pupil has two meanings. One meaning is student, and the other meaning is the small black part of your eye in the middle. Right? So, did you hear about the teacher who was cross-eyed? Cross-eyed means when your eyes look inside like this. He couldn't control his pupils, meaning he couldn't control his eyes and he couldn't control his students. His students made him crazy. Cross-eyed. Okay, that's a pun. That's a pun. All right? Let's see. Let's try the next one. Doctor, will you help me out? Certainly. Which way did you come in? So, what's the joke? The joke is somebody needs help from a doctor, and the doctor, he's saying, Doctor, will you help me out? Help me out, doctor, help me out. And help me out can mean help me, or help me out can mean show me the way out, show me the exit. Dark screen again. Good luck. All right. Wonderful. If I don't curse today, it will be a miracle. Okay, so again, doctor, will you help me out? Means, can you help me? Or it means, can you show me the exit? So he said, the doctor answered, certainly. Which way did you come in? If you come in this way, go out that way. All right, these are puns. Okay, like, look, you could say, I can't eat all this. Can you help me out? It means, can you assist me? Can you assist me? Or, I need another €5. Can you help me out? Means, can you loan it to me? Can you do me a favor? Right? Or, your grandmother will need someone to help her out of the car. To go out of the car. Please help her out of the room and down the stairs. Okay? Okay, so if you want to know where you can find all of these websites, do you know where you can find all of these websites? Do you want to know where you can find every one of these websites? You can go to one place. One place. Right here. This is my website, and on my website you can find all of these. I will show you now. Here is my website right here. Okay, and on my website, if you want to buy lessons from me, if you want to pay me to teach you, I will. I am a teacher. It's my job. So if you want to buy lessons from me, you can. You can buy lessons and pay for lessons here. You can book lessons and pay for them here. But if you want to study by yourself, you can go up here to resources. You see this? Resources. You see that? Let's click on resources. Teacher Mark's top English resources. Below, I have gathered together all the best study and practice resources I could find from all over the internet just for my subscribers. So if you want to work on your reading, click here. If you want to work on your writing, here. Listening, here. Speaking, here. IELTS and TOEFL, here. Grammar, here. Vocabulary, here. Pronunciation, here. Okay? Salim, did I ask you to pay for anything? No, I said if you want to buy lessons from me, then you can pay me. But this is all free. This is all free. Okay? Now, to sign up for my website, you do have to give me your email address. You have to give me your email so that you can see the rest of the website. But that's it. You don't have to pay anything. All right? So let's click on grammar. Let's just look and see. Let's go to grammar. Okay, can you see grammar? Can you see this here? No? Okay, let's stop. Let's try again. No, this one. Okay, here it is here. This is Great English Grammar Practice. Okay, games to learn English. That's the first one. BBC English Grammar. Dave's ESL Cafe Grammar. Elo English Grammar. Wyzant English Grammar. Activities for ESL students. Easy World of English Grammar. And there's another new one that I forgot to add. There's a really, really, really great website that I want to tell you all about. It's this one. There's a girl called Grammar Girl. Grammar Girl. This is her website, quickanddirtytips.com/Grammar Girl. That is the best website for grammar in the world. In the entire world, there is no better website for grammar than hers. Okay? She knows more about grammar than anyone I have ever seen in my life. All right? And her website is really good. Okay? This website is actually, it was nominated as one of the Podcast Hall of Fames. How do you find these websites, Mona? You have to sit down and do the research. All you have to do is go online and just search for ESL websites, ESL studying, self-studying English. You just have to look and look and look and look. And you have to just find the ones that are the best. All right? So if you go to my website, you can spend months just looking at all the resources that I've given you. And that's the point. When you come to my live streams, sometimes people come to my live streams and they are not happy or they're disappointed because they want me to teach them a class. You want me to teach you. I get that. I understand. But I need you to understand that teaching is my job. So if you want me to teach you where I have to prepare, then you have to pay me. But, I love self-learning. I am a self-learner. I love to find the resources that I need and then study what I need to study. So what I've done for you is I have given you everything you need to self-study. And then when you're self-studying, if you have questions or problems, that's when you can come to me in my live stream and you can ask me. All right? So I'm giving you everything you need to study English by yourself. And then I'm here when you have questions. Okay? That's why I don't teach you. That's why I don't prepare material. Okay? I hope you guys can all understand that. All right? It's not that I'm lazy. Quite the opposite. It's more that I'm trying to show you how to be a self-learner, because that's what you should be. Every human is supposed to know how to teach themselves. That's what you were supposed to learn in school. School is supposed to teach you how to learn. School is supposed to teach you how to learn so that you can go teach yourself. All right? How can you get an English course from Iran? So I've said this once before, I'll say it again. If you're in Iran and you want to have lessons from me, send me a message and we'll see what we can do. But it's a little tricky because of the sanctions and everything. So there are some countries that it's tricky because of the government rules, right? But that doesn't mean it can't happen. We just have to talk about it. So you have to message me. All right? You have B2 now and you want to improve your language in English. What advice would you like to give me? Ayub says, I have B2 now and I want to improve my language. Okay, so Ayub, I'm going to tell you two things. And this is very important for everyone here. Please listen. So first, Ayub, if you are B2 and you want to be C1, then you need to push yourself. You can't just keep learning B2 vocabulary and B2 reading and B2 writing. You have to push yourself to C1. So, what are you doing to push yourself to C1? Are you studying C1 vocabulary? Are you studying C1 grammar? Are you working on C1 reading? Are you working on C1 writing? You must push yourself if you want to go there. All right? If you don't move, you won't get there. So reach. Reach for something higher. Okay? Think about learning like the fruit on a tree. Okay? The fruit that's at the bottom is easy. You can get that fruit easily. Okay? That's the A1 fruit. It's right here. Oh, that's easy fruit. But if you want that C2 fruit is at the top of that tree. You're going to have to climb. And it's a little bit scary and a little dangerous. And difficult. It's hard to climb to the top of the tree to get the fruit. All right? It's hard to climb to the top of the tree. All right? So, that's the first thing I'll tell you, is that if you want to push yourself, then you must reach. Okay? But there is another thing that I want to tell you. I see this too much. So I need to say something about it today. Sometimes people come here and they say, I'm C1, or I'm B2, or I'm B1. But when I look at their writing is not B1 or B2 or C1. They're writing with mistakes, and they're writing with abbreviations, and they didn't use commas or punctuation. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, but I'm just chatting. It doesn't matter if I'm just chatting. I'm just talking here on Hello Talk. That doesn't matter, so I don't need to capitalize my letters, and I don't need to punctuate, and I don't need to be careful with my language. And here is what I will tell you. If you want to be good at something, you can't try only sometimes. If you want to be good at something, you can't just try sometimes. You have to try all the time. That's the first thing I'll tell you. The second thing I will tell you is that, for example, a few weeks ago, there was a guy here who got mad at me because he said he wanted to be a teacher, an English teacher. And he wanted me to tell him how to teach English. But I was looking at his language when he was writing here, and his writing was pretty terrible. It was lazy. It was really bad. And I told him, I said, man, if you're writing like that, then you're not ready to teach. And he got mad because he said, yes, but I'm not trying to write well now. I'm just being lazy. And that's why I said, you're not ready to teach, because a teacher is not a lazy person ever. They're not lazy. So, if you want to be good at English, then you can't just sometimes try and sometimes not try. All right? Yeah, oh my God, I'm really bad at commas. So, Mona, if you know that, then that's good. That means that's what you should focus on. Now, here's the most important one, though. Listen, the other reason why you should always try to write to the best of your ability is because you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's listening to you. So maybe that guy who wants a job teaching English, maybe there is somebody listening to him right at that moment who could hire him. Maybe that person could hire him, but that person will see their writing and say, oh, I'm not hiring that guy. His writing is terrible. So you don't know who's listening. You don't know who's watching. And if you say, I want my English to be good, then don't be lazy. Ever. You can't be great if you only try sometimes. If you want to be great, you have to try all the time. So, I'm a drummer, and I've been playing drums for most of my life. If I get behind my drums, if I'm behind any drums, I am always trying my best. I am never, ever playing below my ability because I care. Do I know languages? Yes, I speak Chinese and I speak English. And I know a little bit about many other languages. And about 90,000 people follow me here on Hello Talk. Okay? I know a little bit of Russian. I can say da, I can say нет, I can say что, I can say до свидания, I can say pavlushta, I can say kielbasa. I speak English, I speak Chinese, but I tell people that I speak really bad Chinese really well, right? So I'm still working on my Chinese, and I work on it every day. But my Chinese is self-taught. So that means that many times when I say something, it's not the way a native would say it, because I'm just imagining, I have to pretend like I know what they would say, and I don't know. So I just pretend like I know, and then I fake it. All right? And I speak a third language. The third language that I speak is music. I'm a musician. So I speak music. That's a language. It's a language. But because I have been studying languages and teaching language for many, many years, I know a little bit about many languages. I know a little bit about Latin and Greek and French and Italian and Spanish and Russian and Japanese and Portuguese and Chinese. Maybe 12 or 13 languages. A little. Teeny tiny little bit. Okay? Okay, now. So once again, that's why I'm showing you my website, because my website is there for you to self-study. Okay? My website is there for you to self-study. Okay, let's see. If someone doesn't know how to speak English and they want to book with you, what should they do? Well, Miriam, if you don't speak any English at all, that will be a little bit hard unless you're a Chinese speaker. If you're a Chinese speaker and you don't speak any English, I can maybe help you because I speak Chinese, so we could start, right? But if you don't speak any English at all, you don't know the alphabet, you don't know any words at all, I don't know that I can help you yet. You need to get started first, okay? I don't teach beginners. Okay? I used to, but I don't anymore, okay? So, Miriam, what I would say is you have to have at least a basic level of English to study with me, okay? A basic level. Okay, not advanced, but I would say you need to have at least A1, A2. Okay? 你要我说什么？我是马克老师，我是英文老师，同时也是我是鼓手。现在我教他们英文。Yes, I'm a drummer. Spanish. Yes, Cecilia, I did take Spanish for 1 year. So if I really focused on Spanish, then I think I could probably learn Spanish pretty well in a couple of years. I think I could get a basic level of Spanish in a couple of years. Right now, I can understand when people write, I can understand about 60% maybe. And when people speak, probably about the same, about 60%, maybe 50%. So my Spanish is so-so, but it's, you know, if I were in an emergency, I'd probably be okay. Okay, good. Push yourself to get there, Ayub. Okay. Yes, I am a drummer. Am I a genius? No, I'm not a genius. I'm just a drummer. I'm just a drummer. If I can do it, you can do it. I assure you. Okay? The only reason why you ask that question is not because I'm smarter than any of you. It's only because I started self-learning decades ago. After I finished school, I kept learning by myself. After you finished school, you stopped learning. Because you thought, oh, school is over now. I'm finished learning. I don't need to learn anymore. That's wrong. when you finish school, that's when learning starts. Okay? School is just supposed to teach you how to learn. Then when you finish school, you're supposed to go learn by yourself. Okay? Can I learn something from Tony Robbins? Sure, you can. But remember that when you learn things from people, you can learn both the good and the bad. So Tony Robbins has some things that you can learn from him that are good, sure. But what I would tell you is, I think you should also consider what is it about Tony Robbins that's not good? What is it about him that's not right? I like some of what he says, but I don't, in general, if your job is just to go around and tell people, you can do it, you could be anything, you're amazing, that's not a really hard job. Half of his magic is that he's this big, huge guy. Tony Robbins is a big dude. When a big guy like that, he's like a mountain. It's like a mountain told you you can do it. If a mountain tells you you can do it, you think you can. There's something about him and the size of him and his deep voice that makes people feel confident about what he tells them. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into why people like Tony Robbins. But it's not just his ideas. Some of his ideas are good. Most of it is just he's created a very careful persona. Will you evaluate my English level before booking a class? Well, it depends. Probably yes. Probably yes. Okay? If you talk to me about it, then we'll see where we're at. We'll find out, if you're able to study with me or not. Have tried, can you feel my heart? Huh? What's this? I don't know what that means, Casanova. Is it possible to go through the website and set it on the language I want? Yes, Miriam. Usually, if you use a browser, if your browser is set to Arabic, then my website, I think, mostly will come up in Arabic. Some of it maybe won't translate, but most of it should, I think. Okay? Have I taught English in China? I lived in Taiwan for 5 years teaching there. What kind of music do you play? I play any kind of music, every kind of music. Rock, blues, jazz, funk, pop, Latin, everything. I'm afraid of climbing that tree because if I fear falling down and breaking my neck. Well, man, greatness comes with risk, usually. Okay? What are some effective strategies for staying motivated during self-learning? Sultan, I would say, for me, it's different for everyone, right? Everybody has a different way of learning, and you need to understand your way. Or you need to develop other ways that might also help you, okay? But for me, self-learning is partly about what I call my mountain of learning. My mountain of learning. I'm going to tell you a story. Please listen. When I was a boy, I took piano lessons. I think I was about 8 years old. And I took piano lessons for a couple of years. I hated it. Absolutely hated piano lessons. I loved piano. I hated the lessons. And the reason I hated the lessons was because my teacher was obsessed with me only working in one book. I had the one book, and it was this beginning piano book, and she wouldn't teach me anything outside of that book. Nothing. She didn't teach me scales. She didn't teach me chords. She taught me just the songs in this book. I mean, okay, that's not entirely true. She did teach me a little bit about scales and chords, but she was focused on this one book, right? And that's how many, many teachers are, and many learners, many students. They get one book and then they say, okay, I'm going to do book 1, and then I'll do book 2, and then I'll do book 3, and then I'll do book 4. Cecilia says, very boring. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It felt really boring. It felt really restricted. So then I decided to study on my own, and I started learning by myself, okay? But later I started doing drums. I was about 15. I was 15 years old, and I started getting really serious about drums, right? So this time I decided to do something different. This time I decided I'm going to read the magazine. This is called a magazine called Modern Drummer. It was the popular magazine about drums. And I'm going to find the articles about my favorite drummers. And I'm going to find out what books did all my favorite drummers use? What videos did they watch? Who did they study? What did they study? Right? So I went through all my magazines and I made a list of every book and every video and every resource that they thought was good. Okay, and then I saved all my money and I bought as many of those books as I could find. I bought about 30 books, if I remember right. Okay? Now, I put all of these books in a pile right next to my drums. And here's what I did differently. This time, I would pick up one book and I would say, okay, this is the book about rock. This is the book about rock. I'm going to study rock for a minute. Okay, I'll study rock for 30 minutes and then maybe I get bored. Maybe I get tired. Maybe I get frustrated. So then I'll stop and then I take a break. And during that break, I play with the idea that I learned. So whatever I just studied for 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it was that I was just focused on, whatever skill I was trying to learn, now I will take 15 minutes and see if I can just play with it. Play with it. Do something with it that's playful. Not from the book, just play with it, right? And then I'll say, okay, I did the rock book. Now I'll pick up the jazz book and I'll study the jazz book for a little while. And then I get frustrated and I stop and then I'll play with that idea. Then I move to the next book and then I play with that idea. And then I move to the next book and then I play with that idea. Now, why does this work for me? This works for me because I never get bored. I never get bored. If I get tired or frustrated with one book, okay, I move to the next one. All right, so I push myself as much as I can, but then I reach a point and I go to the next book to try to keep it fresh, to try to keep it interesting, to try to keep it fun. All right? And now I do the same thing with languages or anything that I want to learn. Anything that I want to learn, I do the same thing. I get as many resources as I can. Books, videos, apps, live streams, podcasts, teachers, friends, tutors, mentors. Anything that you can get. And then allow yourself to be distracted in a good way. If you have a lot to be distracted by, sometimes that's good, not bad. Sometimes distractibility can be a good thing if you use it All right. So many people say focus on one thing. Okay, fine. For some people that works. But for some people this way works too. Okay? For some people this way works too. All right. Now, please be patient. I want to answer all the questions, so please be patient. All right. I realized that I was supposed to study while in college. Well, yeah, you were. Have I tried the drums on Can You Feel My Heart? I don't know that one, but I'll check it out. You also know Tony Orlando, all right? Miriam, again, yes. If you use my website, it should translate to whatever your browser is. If your browser is in Arabic, then it should translate most of my website to Arabic. It should. Okay? Okay, let's see. Who is Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker. He's one of the most famous motivational speakers. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw the Hello Talk guy is in the... Hello Talk guy is here. I don't know who it is. Somebody's here. In my chat room. I want to show them how my screen share is not working. So please just wait a minute. Let me show them how screen share is not working, okay? So let's take a look at screen share. Let's go here. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I'm just going to go through some pages, and you guys tell me if it starts blacking out. Okay, so here's the first page that I'm on, right? But if I click on, like, another page, like, let's move to the, whatever this is, Modern Mentor. Let's see what this is, okay? Can you still see it? Yes, okay, let's try another one. How about this one? Can you see this one? Whoops, what is that? No. Ah! Let's try this one. Share screen. Let's just try my website. Okay, look, can you see this? Yes, okay. Let's try this one. How about now? Can you see this? Yes, okay. All right, let's go back. Let's try another one. How about this one? Oh, wait. Please wait, everybody. I'm busy. Wait a minute. How about this one? Can you see this one? Yes, okay. How about now? Yes, okay, I'm going to try another one. Of course, it's working now. Now there's no problem. How about now? Adjective or adverb? Can you see that? Okay, let's keep going. How about this one? Try to speak as clear or clearly. You can see it? Okay, I don't know what the problem is because this is weird. I don't know why sometimes it's not showing. Okay, let's try another one. How about here? Whoops, no. Let's go back. Okay, this is Dave's ESL Cafe. Can you see this one? Yes, okay. Let's try clicking on this link. Can you see this? Yes, okay, let's try another one. Adjective clauses, can you see this? This is crazy. What's going on? Now it's working fine, but for the last month, I cannot figure this out. Okay, if you're there, I don't know what the problem is, Hello Talk, but there is a problem with the sharing. I don't know what it is, but it never ever works the way it's supposed to. This is the first time it has ever worked correctly on my live stream in the last few months, okay? There's always a problem. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. Let's try another one. Okay, how about this one? Can you see this? Yes, okay. Let's try conditionals with Georgie. Can you see this? This is gonna make me so mad. Arrgh! All of these work now. This is so stupid. All right, how about games to learn English? Let's try that one. Can you see this? No! Ah, Hadir says no. Nope. Ah, see? See? Look, it's not working. You see? Look, now they can't see. It should be shared. It should be gamestolearnenglish.com. It should be the main page. Some people can see and some people can't. Okay, so I hope the Hello Talk person is there and can see it. Let's try another one. How about this? How about adjectives? Can you see adjectives? Black? It's all black? Okay, good. All right, they see the problem. All right. Yay, they see the problem. All right, finally, they know what's going on. All right. Finally. Okay. Okay, so now I showed them what's wrong. Now they hopefully can fix it. All right, thank you for that to the Hello Talk person. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, so now I'll go back and see if I missed anybody. Lillian, hello, Lillian. I'm so sorry that I haven't had time to talk to you, Lillian, but I've been really busy. Let's see. All right, let me see. Hello, Sergey. What if there's no particular goal for English right now, but someone keeps learning little by little anyway, just in case it becomes useful someday? Yeah, Sergey, that's the way it works, right? Learning doesn't always have a goal of purpose. Learning is the purpose of the goal, right? That's the purpose, right? So what I would say is don't always structure your learning to be because you need it for something. Because you don't know what you need in life, you really don't. So what I would say is, sure, you can try to learn some things that you want to learn because you think you need them, but in general, learning should feel like a boat, a sailboat. It's getting there, but it takes time. Right? And sometimes it feels like it's very far away, but you're still moving. Okay? Sometimes you move faster and sometimes you move slower. Okay? Hello, Jaja. Okay. Can reading help me remember vocabulary? Yes, it can, Jaja. Reading is one of the best ways to learn vocabulary and remember. Thank you, Barbie. That's nice of you to say. Okay, Nagahao Shinran. Oh. What do I think about the author and writer Robert Kiyosaki? I don't know him, Finn. I can't comment because I don't know. Okay. Okay, the website that you need is my website. My website is right here. If you go to my website, you will find all of the English links you need to study English. That's my website right there. Okay? All right. Okay, thank you, Waleed. Waleed, yeah, Hello Talk. Waleed, if you have trouble with Hello Talk after the update, send them a message. Send the Hello Talk team a message. There's a team button you can click to send them a comment, okay? And that's right, Cecilia. Learning is a pleasure. That's correct. Yeah. All right, I finally caught up with all the comments. Thank you for being patient. Let me see here. All right, and thank you for helping me with the Hello Talk problem. All right. Now, if you have questions, you can ask me your questions now, okay? I did what I wanted to do today already. What I wanted to do is show you my website and all of the links that I have for you to study. It's like a never-ending source of English links. Okay? So that was my main purpose today, is just to show you that if you want to study English, just about everything you need is available for you today. Okay? It's all available. When I was a boy, if I wanted to study something, my resources, my materials were very limited. Very, very limited. Today, the resources you have to study anything are almost unlimited. Okay? My link is right here. Copy it, paste it, go to it. Okay? Yes, you have to sign up for my website, but you don't have to pay anything. You just have to subscribe. That's it. Okay? Once you subscribe to my website, then you can click on the links. Okay? Unlimited stuff makes us lazy. Only if you are a lazy person, Mossab. What I would say is, having unlimited stuff doesn't make you lazy. You're lazy, and now you just have unlimited stuff. So what I would say, Mossab, is discipline is part of learning. Discipline is part of learning. Whether you study with one book or 100 books, discipline is still part of learning. Right? So you still have to have focus and discipline, even if you're using one book or 100 books. All right? Get it? Did I forget anybody over here? I hope not. I didn't. Good. Why do Chinese barbers prefer the English name Mr. Tony? I don't know. 我还没听这个. I've never heard that before. Please say something about speaking anxiety. Okay. Ricky, can you ride a bicycle? Now, Ricky, when you started riding the bicycle, were you nervous? Okay. But now you're not nervous when you ride a bike, right? Great. So what happened? What happened? What did you do? How did that happen? How did you become confident? Because you've done it a lot. Okay, so Ricky, there's a poet from Persia. His name is Rumi. Rumi, the famous Persian poet, he said, all of your anxiety comes from seeking harmony. Seek disharmony and you will find peace. So what that means is, if something makes you uncomfortable, it's because you haven't done it enough and you're running away. You're running away from it. If you want to be comfortable, you don't run away from it, you run toward it. So, if you see a mountain and that mountain has a tunnel through the mountain, the first time you see a tunnel, it's very dark and scary. Every kid is afraid of a tunnel the first time they see it. But then you walk into the tunnel and you see, or you drive through the tunnel and there's the light at the end of the tunnel and it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger. And then you come to the other side of the tunnel and you get out. And then you say, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. And now the next time you see a tunnel, you're not so scared, because you went through it already once. So, your fear is like a tunnel in the mountain. If you want to get through your fear, go through it. Do you understand? So, if you are nervous when you speak, then you should speak more until you're not nervous. Okay? And Finn, I did answer your question, Finn. I guess you didn't hear me. I don't know Robert Kiyosaki. I have never read his books. Let me Google who that is. Oh, Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki. No, I don't know him. Oh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's that guy. I've heard about this book a lot. But I don't usually follow any people who give financial advice. I don't follow people whose perspective in life is based on economics or finances. I know that's important, but I like to base my life on things that have real value, not constructed value. So I don't know this Robert Kiyosaki guy. I've never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know it's very popular. I know a lot of people have read it. But I don't admire businessmen. I don't admire entrepreneurs. I admire good people. And just because you're rich or just because you're successful does not mean you are good. Okay? So when I Google this guy, Robert Kiyosaki, the first thing that comes up is American businessman and entrepreneur. I'll be honest. If that's what you're most famous for, then I probably am not interested in what you have to say. I think business is really banal. Look up that word. It's a good word, banal. Okay, next question. What's the difference between steal and rob? Sometimes nothing. Robbing is usually a word that is associated with a person, right? So, for example, robbery, well, let me double check my definition. Okay, yeah. So, theft is just taking somebody's property without consent or permission, right? And you're trying to keep it, right? So like if you shoplift, if you go to a store and steal a candy bar, that's theft, okay? Robbery is like theft because you're taking someone's property without their consent. But robbery also involves taking property from a person and using force, right? So, if I just say, hey, give me $10, that's not robbery. But if I have a gun, or if I grab you and hold you and use my force against you, and then say, give me $10, now I'm robbing you because I used force to get something from you. Okay? Either the threat of force or force, right? So if you say, if you don't give me your money, I'm going to hurt you, that's robbery. Okay? Burglary. There's another word, burglary. B-U-R-G-L-A-R-Y. Burglary is when, that's when you go into a house or a business and you steal something from the house or the business, right? So maybe there's no people involved, but you stole something from a house or a business. That's called burglary. Okay? Do I have any recommendations for Russian tutors here? That's an interesting question. Well, in some ways, teaching is teaching. Okay, so there are some people who come to watch me who they're not here to learn English. They are here to learn teaching. They are teachers and they like watching me teach for some reason. So there are methods and techniques that you can watch and learn from me. You know, if you just watch me teach, you will hear things from me that are concepts. I'm a really big concept guy. Okay? Everything I do is a concept. So, Barbie and, who was it? Barbie and Miriam. I also have a blog. You can go to my blog. Let me show you my blog. This is my blog. And on my blog, I have written many articles. They are mostly about learning English, but many of the ideas can be used for any language. Okay? A lot of the things that I teach are concepts that can be used in many areas. Okay? So, specifically, I mean, I don't know a great deal about Russian. I know a little bit. So there are a few things that I could tell you that might be useful, but in general, I think it's mostly the concepts and tricks that I use that might be useful in Russian also. Like, for example, tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are the number one fastest way to learn any accent or the proper pronunciation of any language. And every language has tongue twisters, right? So if you're having trouble pronouncing something in English, choose a tongue twister that will make you work on that sound, right? Maybe you have trouble with the P sound, right? So you can practice Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Tongue twisters make you exaggerate your pronunciation. They make you articulate. That's a really great way to improve your pronunciation quickly in any language. So there's a concept that works for any language, doesn't matter. Okay, tongue twisters is a great way to work on your pronunciation. And I tell people that there are 8 parts of language, 8 that you need to think about, right? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So, what I tell people is that there are 5 active parts of language. These are the things that you must do something. So, reading, you have to do it. Writing, you have to do it. Listening and speaking, you have to do it. And even thinking, you have to do that. You have to think, right? Thinking is a verb. That's an action. So those are the 5 active parts of language. Then there are 3 passive parts of language. These are the parts of language that you must study like ammunition, like the bullets in a gun. So the gun is the 5 parts of language. But if you have no bullets, then you can't use the gun, right? So that's a terrible analogy. Let's say, no. Let's use the bricks of the house, okay? So reading, writing, listening, speaking, and thinking, that's the house. But the bricks of the house are grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You can't build the house without the bricks. Okay? So, you have to study grammar in order to use it. You have to study vocabulary in order to use it. You have to study pronunciation in order to use it. Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. And thinking is the one thing that they never ever tell you about. People have been teaching languages for hundreds of years, and they've never ever asked anybody, hey, what language are you thinking in? So, do you know what's happened? Millions of people are learning languages, but when they speak, they're saying one language, and when they think, they're using another language, and that is wrong. If you are speaking English, you should be thinking English. If you are speaking Chinese, you should be thinking Chinese. If you are speaking Russian, you should be thinking Russian. Okay? So, that's one of the most important things that I teach, is that without the skill of thinking, you have to translate everything, and that's too slow, and it makes you nervous, and then it all falls apart right there. So thinking is one of the most critical parts of learning a language, because you can practice thinking anytime. So I live in the United States, but I can practice Chinese anytime I want to. I don't need to speak to anyone. I don't need to speak. I can go to the store and just think about everything that I need to do in Chinese. So, I tell people, what language should you think on the moon? Or what language should you speak on the moon? The moon has no language, so you can do any language, right? And if you come to America, if you're from Russia, then you still think in Russian when you come here, but you don't have to. You can change the language you think in anytime. So, tomorrow, instead of saying yes, instead of saying da, tomorrow you say yes. Instead of saying niet, tomorrow you say no. Right? That's it. You just think a different word. You think a different thing. So, this makes language much, much, much more practical. You walk outside and you look around and you say, can I say that in English? 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 Or, can I say that in Russian? Can I say that in Russian? Can I say that in Russian? And if you don't know, that's your homework. Write it down. That's your homework. Okay? So, if you're a teacher, if you're a Russian teacher, I assume that must be you, then many of my ideas work for any language. They're just concepts, so you can apply them to just about any, not just languages. Almost all of my ideas about learning came from me learning music. Almost all of my ideas that I'm giving you about how to learn English are things that I learned from drums. Okay, so I just took the same concepts that I had in music and I applied them to language, English and Chinese. Okay, and that's how I taught myself Chinese. I used the same ideas for learning Chinese. Okay, did someone think I'm AI? I am not AI. I always tell people, if I were AI, I'd be a lot more handsome. Let's see. No more coffee. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the word deer, D-E-E-R. Yes, the word deer today, the word deer means one kind of animal, right? But a long time ago in Shakespeare's time, and Old English and Middle English, the word deer was any wild animal. Any wild animal. And in Shakespeare, they wrote about it. In King Lear, in the Shakespearean play King Lear, there's one part where he says, mice and rats and such small deer. Mice and rats are not deer, but the word deer just means small animals or wild animals at that time. So the word deer, there's a good word that you could say has changed over time. And you know what? We were talking about words that have changed over time. What about the word awesome. Awesome is a great word because the word awesome today, it means amazing. It means incredible. But the original meaning is actually terrible or scary. The word awe, A-W-E, A-W-E is a word that means something so big that it scares you. Right? So, let me think of an example. Well, when I was a boy, I remember we went on vacation and we went to the Grand Canyon. Do you guys know what the Grand Canyon is? Do you know what the Grand Canyon is? The Grand Canyon. So they call it the Grand Canyon. Grand means great, right? Well, I have news for you. It's bigger than grand. When I went to the Grand Canyon and I saw it for the first time, that's when I knew the word awe. Because when you see the Grand Canyon, it's so big, it's so amazing that your mind just goes and you feel awe. Wow, that's awe. So awe is a feeling of something so big that it's scary. But now we've changed the meaning. Awesome, some awe. It has some awe. Ah, that means it's amazing. But we also have the word awful. Awful. And that one means full of awe, which means full of terror. It's awful. It's terrible. Awful and awesome. They actually have opposite meanings, even though they have the same meaning in history. Originally, the word awesome and awful meant the same thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Have I had a hair transplant? No. No, James, I have not had a hair transplant. It's kind of funny you asked me that, but no. My hair is I'm a 50-year-old man. It happens. Over time, you're going to lose hair. And yeah, I'm losing some. I don't care. I don't care. If I lose all my hair, so be it, I'm not a transplant guy. I'm not a Bosley guy. I think about some of my heroes, George Carlin and Bill Murray. And, these guys didn't have nice hair. They didn't have perfect hair, but I didn't care. I never thought about their hair. I want to be like that. I want to be somebody who is cool enough that nobody cares about their hair. You know what I mean? But thank you, James. I'm glad you think that I didn't have a transplant. I just have a good barber. I have a barber who knows how to cut my hair pretty well. That's it. I can't afford a hair transplant, and I wouldn't buy one even if I could. What's the difference between flavor and taste? Flavor is more like Koei, just like chocolate, vanilla, or a spicy flavor, right? Or bland, right? That's a flavor too, right? Taste. Taste is a verb first. To taste something, right, means to see what flavor it has. To use your tongue and your taste ability to see what flavor something is. So taste has a verb sense first. Then it has a noun sense second. So the taste of this is like the flavor. The taste is bland. The taste is good. Taste is often more general. The taste is good. The taste is bad. It's hot. It's cold, right? It tastes salty, right? They're a little bit more general. Flavor is a specific thing. Like chocolate, that's a flavor. Mango, that's a flavor, right? Think about ice cream. Ice cream has different flavors, right? And you taste them. When you taste something, that's when you say, is this sweet? Is it salty? Is it spicy? Right? That's the taste of something. Taste is more general, flavor is more specific. Well, that was a long answer. My room looks like the room of a cool teenager. Okay, well, I mean, it's a studio, kind of, sort of. I'm a drummer, so here you can see this much of my room. I'll show you that much. That's it. That's my room. You learn the new word etiquette and you recognize the suffix ette. Yep. So, Susu, the word etiquette is one of my favorite words to teach. You must have heard me teach the background of that word. Etiquette is a French word. But what does that word sound like? Etiquette. There's another word that sounds kind of like it. Etiquette. It sounds almost like the word what? When you go to the movie, you need to buy a... If you go to the movie, you must buy a ticket. The word ticket comes from the French word that means etiquette, means a small piece of paper. A small piece of paper. That's the original meaning of the word etiquette. And the reason why is because this word is French. In French history, if you wanted to be around the king, it's called the court of the king. If you're near the king, then you're in the king's court. Okay? So that means you're like with all the rich people. And guess what? They have a lot of rules. They have so many rules of behavior. You can do this and you can't do that, and you can do this and you can't do that. And it's too much to remember. It's too many rules to remember. So they used to write all the rules on a little piece of paper. And then you would keep that piece of paper in your pocket. And then you could review the rules. So the word etiquette comes from the little piece of paper that you kept in your pocket that had the rules on it. And that's where we get the word ticket, because a ticket is a small piece of paper. The word ticket and the word etiquette are related. Let me see if I have an example. Oh, come on. There must be one. Please wait a moment. Not one picture? Well, I was looking to find a picture of an actual list of the rules, and I know I've seen one before, but I cannot find it now. Well, I guess I can't find one. But yeah, they used to have a little piece of paper that they kept in their pocket, and that was the rules, and that's etiquette. All right, next question. Can we use spices in the word flavor? Spice it's an interesting word. Spice can mean two things. If I say this is spicy, that means spicy like hot spicy, like hot chilies, right? So it means very hot tasting, right? Not heat like temperature. I mean heat like chili spice, okay? But the word spice is also used for many, many flavors, like black pepper is a spice, right? Or dill and parsley and basil, those are herbs, right? Herbs and spices. Herbs are usually plants that we dry or use fresh, and spices are usually dried herbs or seeds that we use for cooking. Okay, so like fennel seed, that's a spice, or paprika, that's a spice. It's dried, right? So usually spices are dried and herbs are fresh. Okay, next. Yes, I also play piano too. I'm not a brilliant player, but I can play piano. Yes. Okay. I'm learning English to talk to Miriam. She's learning Russian to talk to me. Oh, that's cool. Well, Barbie, I appreciate the compliment, but one of the things that I want to do here is I don't want anybody to feel like what I do is impossible. I want everyone to feel like what I do is something you could do. That's the point of being a teacher. I'm not trying to be exceptional. I'm not trying to be superior or special. I'm trying to show you that anyone can do all of the things that I am doing. Anyone can. That's my point in being here. Rada says, why am I always alone on stage? Rada, mostly because that's the way teaching works. Usually when you go to a class, the teacher is in the front and the students are sitting there learning from the teacher. I'm a teacher, you're my students. Okay? Now, I do sometimes talk to people on stage, but not too often. And only when those people know what I'm doing. But many people come here and they don't know what I'm doing and they just want to talk to me. And they're not really paying attention to the other 84 people who are here trying to learn from me. Okay, Hello Talk has a problem. Not just Hello Talk, but every social media has a problem of me, 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 me. Sometimes it's not about you. That's why. Okay. Sometimes you've heard behind and sometimes you heard behind. Both are fine. It's behind, okay? But the sound of B sometimes is short and quick, and it sounds like, get behind me, get behind me, get behind me, right? So behind sometimes becomes behind only because of quickness or laziness, okay? Don't think too much about it. Don't think too much about it. What's the real meaning of the word chewy? Chewy is a word that means something that makes you chew more, right? Chewing is the act of moving your teeth up and down to break food apart in your mouth. So, if something is more chewy, then it's something that you must chew more. Okay? Now, chewy is kind of the opposite of crunchy. If something is crunchy, then when you bite it, you'll hear that sound. When you chew something that's chewy, when you eat something that's chewy, you don't usually hear that kind of a sound. So, candy bars are chewy. Chocolate bars often are chewy. Maybe it has caramel and nuts in it. That makes it chewy. Okay? But sometimes cookies or biscuits are crunchy. You bite them and they break quickly and easily, right? So chewy things break softly. Crunchy things break more, what's the word? Crisply, I think, maybe I would say. Okay, you're welcome, Cecilia. Take care. Spice it up can mean to sparkle the conversation or to make something more interesting. Spice it up means make it more interesting. We're going to spice it up a little bit. Means we're going to make it more interesting. How and when did the word apple shift from being a general term to all fruits to a specific type of fruit? So that one was, the word meat a long time ago used to mean any kind of food. The word apple used to mean any kind of fruit. But I cannot remember when that changed. Let's see. And, the other thing, Rada, is I'll tell you one other reason why I don't often have people on my stage. Because usually people don't know what I'm doing. Many people don't know what I'm doing. And if you don't know what I'm doing, then I'm not here to talk to you. You have to know what I'm doing in order to talk to me. But many, 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 many people, they come here and they have no idea who I am. They don't know what I'm doing, and they just want me to answer their questions and to talk to them now. And that's not the way a classroom is supposed to work. And that is what I do here. I treat this like a classroom. Okay? So, Rada, I do talk to people sometimes, but only if they know what we're doing. Only if they pay attention and they understand what I'm doing here. But just so you know, I have been here on this app for more than 12 years, almost 13 years. I have been live streaming here for about 5 years. I have done more than 1,400 live streams teaching, and about 90,000 people follow me. So that's why I have to stay with purpose. And if I just talk to random people all the time, there's no purpose. It's just random. And they don't know what we're doing. No teacher can teach well if they're always starting over every time. So sometimes I have to ignore the new people and just focus on the people who know what's going on. Okay? I know that, here's what I tell people. Rada, do you know the band The Rolling Stones? Do you know the Rolling Stones, everybody? The Stones. Mick Jagger. No, the Rolling Stones are very, very, very famous rock and roll band. And they have a song that's really famous, and it's called You Can't Always Get What You Want. And I love this song because the lyrics are great. It says, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. And that's how my room is. If you come to my room, maybe you don't get what you want because you can't always get what you want. But if you come to my room, maybe you will find you don't get what you want, but you do get what you need. All right? And the other reason why I don't talk to people on stage is because 9 out of 10 times, if I say, do you want to talk to me on stage? People are too scared. If I say, come talk to me, nobody raises their hand. They're too scared to talk to me. They think I bite. Ruff. Well, a lot, Chestnut. So many times I say, who wants to come talk to me? Who wants to talk to me? Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me. And then nobody comes. Let's try right now. Raise your hand if you want to come on stage and talk to me. Raise your hand. If you want to talk to me, you can. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. See? Not one person raising their hand. There are 84 people here. They're all too scared to talk to me. A friend said to me he had some issues with his professor. He has to get along with him to graduate smoothly. Not like you with your piano teacher. He kind of has no choice. Okay. Yeah, that happens sometimes, Susu. Occasionally, yeah, you have to just get along with the teacher because he's the teacher. You know? You read a curious idiom, clean your room and all that jazz. Jazz meaning a mess. So in this case, jazz doesn't mean a mess. All that jazz just means and everything else. Or, how do I say this? All that jazz is a really lazy way to just say and everything else, right? So if you say clean your room and all that jazz, it means clean your room and do the dusting and make sure you vacuum and do everything you're supposed to do, not just a little bit, right? So all that jazz means everything involved, okay? Everything you should do or everything you need to do, okay? And still, nobody wanted to talk to me. See? I told you. Sometimes it's readiness. I know sometimes, yeah, maybe you're not ready or it's late at night and you're, in your pajamas or whatever. I understand, but I'm just saying that usually the people who come here and raise their hand, honestly, most of the time they raise their hand because they don't know what we do here. They don't know me, so they're not afraid because they don't know me. But then when they find out that I am a real teacher and that I really teach here, then they get scared. Now they don't want to talk to me. You've just arrived. You don't know the schedule. Okay, so look, if you are new, I have something for you. If you are new, please copy this link and read that file. Everything that you need to know about me is in that file. That's my PDF. That's my FAQ PDF. FAQ means frequently asked questions. So, Luli, my schedule is in that, and my website is there, and my blog is in there, and my YouTube is in there. And there are 4 free articles about learning English in there. So everything you need to know about me is in that file right there. Okay, you can't just click on it. If you click on it, it won't work. Copy it, paste it into your browser, and it will work, or it should. Okay, let's see. Next question. With all of my respect, I'll prepare myself. Well, that's fine. Okay, Chestnut, come back next time and come on stage, prepare yourself. And by the way, that's the other thing that I tell everybody is if you come to my room and you think that my room is boring or you think that I'm not teaching something, it's because you're lazy, not me. If you come here with questions, I will answer your questions. But if you don't have questions, that's not my fault. Good students have questions. So if you're a good student, you should come to my stream with questions. Grammar questions, vocabulary questions, pronunciation questions, reading questions, writing questions, listening questions, speaking questions, thinking questions, public speaking questions, interview questions. Questions. If you don't have questions, you're not really trying. You should have a list of questions, always. You should always have a list of questions that you want to ask about, that you need to know more about, that you don't understand. Okay? So, my room is as good as you make it. If you come here and you ask me questions, then you will get a lot. Okay? But sometimes people come here and they say, well, Teacher Mark doesn't teach anything. And you're right. I don't. I am not going to prepare anything because I don't get paid here. So, if you study with me and you pay me, then I prepare. I have all kinds of materials. I have all kinds of lessons that I can teach you. But I only do that for my paying students. If you're not a paying student, I still will teach you. I still teach you, even if you're not paying me. You just have to do the work. You have to do the work. So you have to ask me what you need to know. Don't expect me to tell you what you need to know. You have to ask me. All right? Okay, let's see. What are we talking about right now? Well, right now I'm just explaining about my room and my rules and all of that. You got it with Jazz. Another question. I have a word I can't pronounce well. Doyen. Where did you see that word? What is that? Huh? That's not a word. Oh, yeah, that is a word, but it's not a common one. It's doyen, but yeah, it's a very uncommonly used word. It's a rarely used word in English. Doyen. It means the most senior or respected or experienced person in a field. There's another word that we use for that. Let's see. So we might say, we might use the term veteran. Veteran is often the term that we use to tell somebody that you're much more experienced and knowledgeable, right? So he's the veteran or senior. Veteran or senior. Those are the two words. The senior officer, the veteran officer in the, you know, in that job, right? Maybe you have a job where the title of your job is veteran something or senior something. Senior executive, veteran executive. Okay, so it means something that's you're the highest level of something. Okay, and yeah, it's usually used in a military context. It comes from the military, but it's sometimes used for anyone who is experienced. They're veteran. They're a veteran. Okay. If you are Chinese, if you're Chinese, then it might not open for you. If you're Chinese, then you can add me on WeChat. Add me on WeChat and I'll send it to you in WeChat. I can't send it to you in HelloTalk. They don't do that. But if you add me on WeChat, then I can send it to you. Okay? If you're not Chinese, then you should be able to open my file. Recently, I feel bored very much. How can I find new energy for learning daily? So, Libra, when you are learning, sometimes you have to think about it like the ocean. Waves. They come in and they go out, and they come in and they go out. But over time, they do erode. The erosion is the effect of the waves. But waves sometimes are strong and sometimes waves are weak, right? So this is the process of learning. Sometimes learning, you're really killing it. You're doing well. You're really, really learning well for some time, right? Maybe a few months, maybe a year. But then you feel a different feeling for a while. Now you feel uninterested or bored or not excited about learning. That's just the waves. They come in and they go out. Okay? It's called ebb and flow. Ebb and flow. Ebb and flow. Okay? Ebb and flow means sometimes you're the wave coming in and sometimes you're the wave going out. All right? But waves are still there, whether they're going in or coming out. That's learning. Learning is the same way. You keep doing it. Sometimes you're really pushing and you're killing it, and sometimes you're not. Yeah, it's like ups and downs. It's like ups and downs, okay? And the other thing I think is very important is sometimes it's great to take a break from your learning. Sometimes you need to put it down and walk away for a little while. Put it down and walk away for a month, then come back to it. Sometimes it's crazy how you do that, and the thing that was really difficult for you before, something that you couldn't figure out, something you couldn't understand last month, now you take a break, you come back to it, and you're fresh, you have a fresh view. Now you look at that thing and suddenly you understand. Okay, so sometimes you need a little bit of a break in between your learning so that your learning can settle. It has to settle. All right? And sometimes taking a break is just good to refresh you. But also, if you're bored when you're learning, you need to figure out if that's your fault. Are you bored because your way of learning is boring? If your way of learning is boring, then yeah, you're going to be bored. So that means that part of learning well means finding ways to learn that you enjoy. Learning cannot always be fun, but learning you should try to make it fun as much as you can. All right? So learning is not always fun. Sometimes learning is just hard. It's stressful. It's difficult. It's confusing. But sometimes you can make learning fun, and you should whenever possible. Okay? You tried to copy and paste to your browser, but it didn't work, even for you. Interesting. Chestnut, do you have WeChat? If you have WeChat, then add me on WeChat, and I'll send it to you later. I know a lot of people in Vietnam use WeChat too. Let's see. Could I please say the word again when you answered about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the question? You said some word with entrepreneur too quickly. I was talking about... What was that? I think I just said he was a businessman and entrepreneur. And if those are your two main qualifications, if that's what you're most famous for, I'm probably not interested in talking to you. I don't find business to be very exciting or interesting. And I don't find entrepreneurship to be very exciting or interesting usually either. Occasionally, business people have real passion and real heart about something that's not money. But if your only goal is money, I have no interest in talking to you. You're the lowest form of human being. Troglodyte. That's a good word. You can look up that word. To me, business people are just troglodytes. I've studied English for many years, but I feel rusty when it comes to speaking. So, Luli, that's because you never practice thinking in English. You need to practice thinking in English. So every day, you live in Argentina right now, and every day you wake up thinking in Spanish, right? So tomorrow, wake up and start trying to think in English, right? Instead of saying gracias to somebody, you can say thank you. You can think it. Think it. Don't say it. Think it. Practice in your mind. Make it ready here, and then it will be ready here. So you guys want to sound comfortable. You want to sound comfortable. You want to sound relaxed when you speak. If you're not comfortable up here, how can you be comfortable here? Okay, so you have to get comfortable in your mind with the language first, before it can be comfortable in your mouth. Okay, the word pivot as a verb. Pivot is a word that means to turn to a different direction. To turn to a different direction. So, Lolo, if you look at me, pivot means you're standing on one foot, right? I'm standing like this, but now I pivoted to this direction. Pivot. So my heel is actually staying still. My heels are not moving, but I am changing the direction. That's to pivot. Okay, so the word pivot is usually used to describe not a real move, but like just a change in direction. So our company has pivoted from our original position. That means that we were going to do this, but now we've changed our mind and we've changed to pivot to a different answer, a different choice. Okay? You're a little afraid of speaking with me. I'm too smart. I am not. Guys, okay, look. I cannot tell you how my father would think you guys are hilarious. My mother and father would think it's so hilarious that you guys are too afraid to speak with me because you think I'm too smart. My father in particular, he's way smarter than I am. He probably thinks I'm a pretty dumb kid. And he's right. He's right. I am. So just, I want you to understand. I don't want you to feel like I'm better than you. I want you to feel like you can do what I do. That's what I want. If I'm making you feel uncomfortable or intimidated, then I am not doing my job well. I don't want you to feel like I'm special. I don't want you to feel like I'm a genius. Good Lord, no. I'm not. I'm just somebody who spent time thinking about these things and you didn't. That's the only difference. You can spend time thinking about these things too. All right? All right. Hello, Chris. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Ali. Hendrik, long time no see. How are you, Hendrik? Good to see you. If that's the same Hendrik, I think it is. Hello, DK. Audience review your live streams now after you're done with the live? What? Yeah, Chris, I don't know what's up with that. I don't understand how Hello Talk works in that way. I don't know if everybody's streams are replayable or if it's only mine or some people. I don't know. And of course, nobody told me anything. I didn't know that my streams were replayable until someone told me they were replayable. I can replay my streams because I'm the host, but I didn't know anybody else could until they told me. So I don't know what's up with that. And happy birthday. Happy 42nd. Wait a minute. What was that? They told us in science books about the needle of a compass, and that's where you heard the word pivot? Because the compass will pivot to a different direction? Yeah, you could use it that way, right? That's the way a compass works too, yeah. I once learned the word pivot from Friends. That episode was so interesting. Ah, yeah, pivot, right? So there's an episode of Friends where they're trying to move a big couch through an apartment building. So they have to carry it up the stairs and they have to turn it. And every time they turn, Ross, the character Ross, he's yelling, pivot, pivot, pivot. And he says it in the way he pronounces the word is obnoxious and weird, which makes it even more strange. But he keeps telling them pivot, meaning turn, turn, turn. Why do people become homeless in the USA? Because unfortunately we have an economy where our economy and many economies are based on desperation. If you don't have a desperate class of people struggling to get by, then your economy won't push forward. So there are many economies that are deliberately desperate because that's how they make more money and more production, by making you desperate. If you're comfortable, then maybe you'll be lazy. That's what they think. They think if we pay you too much and we make your job too nice, then you won't work hard. So we're not going to pay you much at all, and we're going to make you feel like you're scared to lose your job so that you work really hard and that you're desperate. So desperation economies exist everywhere. But yeah, explaining why we have homeless people is mostly because we have a system that doesn't care. We have a system that tells you that you're supposed to figure it out yourself. That if you are poor, that it's your fault. That's what they tell you in America. It's not true. If anything, almost everybody in America who's poor, it's really not their fault. There are so many reasons why it's not their fault, that it's the system that made them in that situation. But we don't look at it that way. We always blame the people. We say, oh, you're just lazy. No, it's not that the fact that the system screwed you every time. No, you just must be lazy. Okay, that's a hard one to answer, though. Will I see the World Cup? Andy, I don't care about sports, so I won't watch because I don't care. Let's see. Do I have any plans to come to Europe again? I would love to, Hendrik. I really, really would. Yeah, especially to see Belen and Gunter again, and you too. It'd be great to catch up with you again. I got to meet Hendrik in Germany. That was fun. Is that for the homeless who live in Las Vegas too? Yeah, Waleed, again, like I said, Waleed, if you come to America, let's just say this. It's very, very easy to become homeless here. It's very easy to become poor here. It's very easy to end up with too many bills and you can't get ahead. So the number one cause of bankruptcy in this country are medical bills. So there are many, many, many homeless people who are homeless because they got sick and they could not afford to pay the bills. So they had to sell their house and they had to sell their car or cars. And they sold everything and then they ended up on the street. It happens quite a bit here. Every year in America, between 530,000 and 650,000 Americans file for personal bankruptcy due to illness-related work loss or burden of medical bills. Every year in America, almost 650,000 people lose all their money because of medical bills. Medical and health related issues are 60% of all bankruptcies. 60% of bankruptcies in America are because of medical bills. Mona says because the USA did charity to other countries a lot. No, it's not that, Mona. No, it has nothing to do with that. We should do charity because we should help people. When you're the big boy on the block, you should be the big brother, not the big bully. Right? So you should help other people. But no, Mona, I'll just make this one statement. Whenever we have a war, they always have money for that. And those are not cheap. So, if they wanted to have medical insurance for everyone, universal health care for every American, it's cheap. We could afford it. We just don't because they want to make money. So most of the world says that medical bills, that you shouldn't make money off of sick people. Most of the world, they know you shouldn't be trying to make money from sick people. But in America, everything is a business. Everything. Profit is the number one thing. It's about profit. So yeah, it doesn't make sense because America's the richest country ever. You're right. It doesn't make sense. You're right. So if you want to know why, that's why. The 5-letter word. Greed. All right? Greed. It's horrible, Mark, and we're always watching series like The Good Doctor or Dr. House saving people to make the world believe in your system. So it's a crazy thing, Marco, because we do have the best hospitals. We do have the best doctors. We do have the best technology. But our system is one that tries to make money off of the people, the medical system. So they are trying to make money, not trying to make you better. And they will not make you better if they cannot make money. So in America, if I get sick, if I go to the hospital, they have to try, they will look, they'll see, do you have insurance first? And if I need help, if I need medical care, sometimes the insurance company has to say, they have to call the insurance company and say, hey, will you pay for this? He needs cancer treatment. Will you pay for it? And sometimes the insurance company says, no, we're not going to pay for that. We're not going to pay for that. They're not doctors, but they will decide if you get medicine or not. Because they decide if they can make money or not. Yeah, it's sick. That's in my opinion, that's the worst thing about America is our health care. It's the worst thing of America. Absolutely the worst thing. It's disgusting that people here have to worry. It's disgusting that people have to be nervous about losing their home because of medical bills. It's disgusting. Susu, I don't want to talk about that too much, but I will say that that's why nobody was mad or upset when Luigi did that. It was Luigi Mangione. When he did that, nobody was like, oh my God, it's so terrible. No, everybody was kind of like, well, you've been killing us for decades. It's not surprising that one of you got killed. That's how almost everybody in America feels. We are not surprised that the insurance guy got killed. Not surprised at all. And I'm not that sad. I won't say yay, but I'm not going to cry about it because he knew what he was doing. He knew how evil he was. You can dress well, you can wear expensive clothes, and you can look like a nice person, but you could be evil. Some of the nicest looking people in the world are the evil people. Are there no homeless people in Utah? No, I'm sure Utah has homeless people too. Utah homeless number. No, Utah has homeless people too. It's lower. Utah has a lower rate of homelessness, but do you know why? The biggest reason why Utah has the lowest population of homeless is because nobody lives in Utah. Nobody wants to live in Utah. Utah is the whitest place on the earth. Let's see. In the end, doctors can selectively receive patients for profit. So there are some rich, if you're rich, then you have private doctors and they'll do anything, right? But if you're not rich, then you have to go to the public doctors, and the public doctors have to work in the system, and the system is what's screwed. The doctors are great, right? Most of the doctors in America, I think, are good people who really want to help. The problem is that they work in a system that's absolutely sick. So we've got good people in a sick system. Okay, let's see. You've heard many people go to the gym because of that. Is that true? Tamako, what are you saying? Because of what? Many people go to the gym because of what? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is medical insurance also required in government hospitals in USA? Yeah, every hospital requires you to probably show insurance. Now, they can't refuse to give you care if you're dying, right? So if you go to the hospital and you are sick, they will see you and they will treat you, but you might get a big bill. So, okay, now that you went to the hospital and the hospital helped you and now you're better, and you get home and 1 month later you get a bill in the mail for $300,000 or some crazy number. So now you're not sick anymore, but now you have to pay $300,000. Yeah. And yes, a lot of Americans are in debt. Yeah. Let's see. How many Americans living paycheck to paycheck? How many Americans do you think live to paycheck to paycheck? That means paycheck to paycheck means that I have money now, but then I will get paid, and now I have to pay my bills. And after I pay my bills, now I have no more money. Right? So that's called living paycheck to paycheck. LeBron says 30%. Waleed and Language Warrior think 80%. Well, 80% is closer. It's between 50 to 70% of Americans. Between 50 and 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which means they only have enough money to pay their bills each month. They do not have any money to save. They do not have any money for extra expenses or anything extra. That's it. Okay, so it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. A lot of people in America are living paycheck to paycheck. Locals can never be homeless because their parents would give them their children houses to live. LeBron, but okay, first of all, LeBron, many Americans don't own a house. Many Americans, they own one house. They don't own 10 houses. They have one. Most Americans do not have more than one house. That's a crazy thought. No, you can barely afford one. So, no, if your kids don't have a house, their parents are not going to give them one. A few years ago, I think maybe 20 or 30 years ago, that maybe was a little more true. That 30 years ago, if your kids didn't do well, then maybe your parents could afford to buy you a house or something to help you out, right? But not today. No, definitely not. Do I think credit card is convenient or mobile payment? 差不多都可以，随便. I don't care, Justin. I don't use mobile payment very much. We do mobile payment a little in America, but not that much. Very little. Only, like, if I'm buying food, maybe I'm getting some fast food, right? I can order it on my phone and pay for it on my phone just with the, face recognition, right? Okay, we do that a little bit, but in China, almost everything is just a mobile payment, right? We don't do that very much here. 10%, maybe 10% of things in America are mobile payments. The rest is credit card or cash. We still use cash. That paper stuff that you give people, that's called cash. In China, I think people don't even know what cash looks like anymore. You just remembered a piece of news. A man was forced off a plane to make room for another passenger. He has 2 children and work at the Mayo Clinic. The airline later paid him a large amount of money because being a doctor is indeed a powerful career. No. No, there must have been some legal reason why he got paid, Susu. It was not because he was powerful. I'll check. Let me see. Mayo Clinic. Doctor removed from plane. I'm sure there was a reason why. He was probably being a dummy. Dr. David Dow. Oh, I think I remember that. So he was not a Mayo Clinic doctor. He was a pulmonologist from Kentucky. I have no verified news or records of a Mayo Clinic doctor being removed or kicked off of a commercial airline. So the only one that I see is about this other doctor, Dr. David Dow, who he was randomly selected to give up his seat because the flight was overbooked. And he refused. And he said, I'm a doctor, I need to see my patients in the morning. And when he refused, they physically took him off the plane. And when they took him off the plane, he got a concussion and a broken nose, and he lost 2 teeth. They were really rough with him, I guess. And then they sued him, or no, he sued them. He sued them because it was too rough and unreasonable. So it's not because he's a powerful doctor. No, it's because he did have a point that Okay, he's a doctor. That does matter. You know, he does have patients to see. You should have just chosen another person and said, okay, yeah, we can't force the doctor off the plane, probably, but if you're a mechanic, then maybe you can wait. Right? They could have said, hey, would anybody volunteer to go? Because he's a doctor, he needs to see his patients. Probably somebody would have said, like, if that were me, if I were on that plane and they were saying, hey, this doctor's got to get off the plane, I probably would have volunteered. I would have said, like, okay, look, I'll get off, you know, he can have my seat. Right? But they didn't do that. Instead, they were rough with him and he got hurt. So they sued. He sued for money. That's why. So it has nothing to do with his power. All right. Why not today? Is that because the hardships they face nowadays, because the perspective? It's both, but it's mostly because nobody can afford it. You can't afford to be generous anymore unless you're really rich. Wow, even beggars use QR codes? Wow, that's crazy. I've never heard of that. Do Americans go to other countries for treatment? Yes, many, many, many Americans will go to other countries to get medical treatment. You can fly to Vietnam and have surgery, stay in Vietnam for a week or two on vacation, and fly home, and it will be cheaper than going to get care in America. So an American can take a vacation to another country to get medical care and fly home, and it will still be cheaper, probably, than what we pay here. Yeah. Yeah, healthcare tourism. And there are a bunch of countries that are like that. There are many, many countries that are like that. You can fly to Vietnam is one of the big ones. Thailand, Taiwan. People go to these places and they get medical care. Hong Kong, too, you know. Yeah. Cash in China is just like unnecessary paper right now. That's funny. I heard in Europe, the rich have their own castles, have second homes, and even yachts. So again, Anna, in Europe, there are a few people who are like this. A few people who are really, really rich, and they own a castle and a bunch of homes. The same thing is true in America. Not castles. There are no castles here, really. But there are many Americans who are so rich that they have 5 or 10 houses. You know? They have no connection to reality. They are in their own world. But those are not normal people. Hopefully I can visit Hamburg whenever I'm coming to next. Yes, absolutely, man. Yeah, let's make a plan. Let's see if we can make a plan for that. Vietnamese pho is expensive in the U.S. You want to see how much I pay for pho here? Let's see how much pho is. So, here is one of the local pho places that's pretty popular. Oh, here we go, menu. There it is, pho. A large bowl of regular flank steak and brisket is $14.45. A small is $11.45. So somewhere between $14 and $24 for a bowl of pho. It depends on what kind you get. If you get seafood or whatever. $14 to $24. Yeah, food's expensive here. Food's super expensive here. It just is. Everything's expensive here. And Vietnam pho's around $2. I know. I know. Yeah. It's one of the, I lived in Taiwan for like 5 years, right? So I had cheap food all the time there. Everything was cheap. All the food was cheap. Even the expensive food is not expensive compared to America. So, yeah, it's really hard for me here because if I want to order dumplings, just dumplings. Dumplings should not be expensive, but dumplings are expensive here. Yeah. I've been to Hong Kong, but other than Hong Kong, no. I was in the Shanghai airport. I was in the Shanghai airport, and I've been to Hong Kong a bunch of times. But I've never been to mainland otherwise. Can Vietnamese have healthcare tourism in the U.S.? I don't know why you would want to. Why would a Vietnamese person want to come here to get healthcare? Because it's going to cost you a lot. So I don't think that happens. Please, Teacher Mark, let me have the hope of believing in the American dream. So, Waleed, you can believe in the American dream, but I want you to you need to understand what's true and what's not. And a lot of it is not true, right? And a lot of it has changed over time, man. So 100 years ago, the American dream was a very real, very, very real thing for almost everyone. 100 years ago, the American dream was true for everyone. Now the American dream is only true for some people, very few. Okay, either if you're really, really, really rich, then you can have the American dream. Or if you're really poor, maybe the place you live or the country you come from or the culture you come from, maybe it's really difficult there, right? So possibly if you leave that place and come here, you will feel like this place is amazing. You'll feel like this is a land of opportunity, right? So there are some people who might come here and they still feel like this is the land of the American dream. But it's just not true for everybody. That's just honest. That's just honest. I live in Ohio. Many Indian ministers come to the U.S. and they don't have medical insurance in the U.S. How does the U.S. government allow them to have treatment without insurance? DK, probably they pay for it out of their pocket. They don't get it for free. I'm sure they don't get it for free. Even a diplomat. I don't think a diplomat would get free health care. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So more than likely, if they came to the U.S., they paid for it. So I have heard about this. Sometimes there are maybe a politician or a president or somebody will come to the U.S. for health care because we have the best cancer center or we have the best hospital for this particular problem, right? We have the best surgeon for this particular surgery. So they'll come here for that. But usually they pay. They pay for it. And yeah, I know food's cheap in China, yep. What's the American dream right now? Right now, it's an American nightmare. Led by an orange menace. Hello, Normal. I do make my own dumplings at home. I do. I have some frozen that I made in the freezer right now. Why do the majority of Americans live in China? Salim, what are you talking about? Salim, there are 330 million Americans. They live in America. There are not many Americans living in China. Let's see. About 100,000, maybe. About 100,000 Americans live in China. 330 million live here. Give me your tired and your poor. Yes, indeed. But many people don't agree with that. Many conservative right-wing people, Waleed, they don't agree with that statement. Give me your tired, your poor. Yeah. So keep that in mind, Waleed. A client of mine is Chinese from Shanghai. The funny thing is that he owns a restaurant here near the central station, but it's a... Oh, wow, but it's Italian cuisine. Well, he's a businessman. It's not about him being Chinese. Yeah. Can you go to the U.S. to earn money, then come back to China to spend it? Probably yes and no, maybe. It depends on the kind of job you do, and it depends on how much money you make and how much money you are trying to send home. There are rules and regulations about that kind of thing. There are legal rules about how much money you can carry out of the country legally. You mean if a person has more money, they can get treatment directly, not required? Yes, that's right. Yeah, if you have money, you don't have to go to the regular doctors, you go to the rich doctors. There are some doctors who are private doctors. They're private doctors. They're not public doctors. They only work for rich people. Because they get paid a lot to do that. So the rich people never have to wait. The rich people never have to go through the regular process. They can pay money and get what they need. Okay, so Nermal. Here you go, Nermal. 500 real English phrases. Go to that. Okay? All right, guys, I'm getting tired. My voice is starting to get scratchy. I'm probably going to have to go here. How much does a simple worker earn in the U.S.? The minimum wage I think it's still $7.25. Yeah. The minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. And that has not changed since 2009. So it's 2026, but the lowest payment for a job is still the same low payment that was happening in 2009. $7.25 per hour. All right, so teachers and doctors have quite different incomes. Teachers earn too little while doctors earn a lot. Mostly that's right. Yeah, Susu. Mostly. Salim, that's a great salary? Salim, in America, that's poverty. You can't live on that in America, Salim. So... So, if you want to live independently in my state of Ohio, you need to work between 100 and 124 hours per week in order to live. $124 a week in order to pay your bills. Yes, $725 is a terrible salary. It's terrible. Okay? All right. Samira, I can't answer that question. I don't know. But Samira, if you've never tried to move to another country, moving to another country is a very difficult thing, and most people are not prepared for it. Most people cannot handle it. It's a very big, especially moving to a place like China, where it's a big culture shock, culture difference, right? So I would say more than half of people who try to move to another country, they probably move back within the first 6 months or a year because it's hard. For some people, it's too hard. The shock is too much. The differences are too many. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to go, but I'll be back tomorrow. I should be back tomorrow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching and everything and following and all that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Marco and LeBron and Giuseppe. It's always nice to see the regulars, that's when I see people come here regularly, that's when I feel like I must be doing something right. If you're coming to my class all the time and you're listening to me talk for hours and hours and hours, I must be saying something that you like, or I must be doing something right. So I appreciate when I see people here consistently, the regulars, right? Yeah. So anyway, come back and see me again tomorrow. And if you're not a regular, then be a regular. All right? Start being one. Okay. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Bye.